Cameraman Grades, cameramangrades.com. How to film football training and professional consultations for camera operators, video coordinators, and sports video professionals at all levels. Find us at cameramangrades.com or contact us directly at cameramangrades@gmail.com to improve your team's coaching video. Currently looking for the best camera operator of the 2025 NFL season. These are the best of the best, and we are putting it to the test. How about we go to the Cowboys in Dallas versus the Arizona Cardinals, Week 9 of 2025. Great job panning over, finding the ball, zooming in, nice and tight shot. Okay, you can see right here. Okay, this is all 22 guys in the shot. This is where it kind of enters it. There's a lot of people along this bottom edge here, but if we can get to this point sooner, recognizing that there is a kicker coming here, bringing the ball over, and then keeping more of this guy in the shot at the top of the frame. He's kind of just jogging behind the play, but you can see there, there's plenty of guys here at the bottom that we can cut out. But on the whole, looks good. Okay. Great, tight setup. Let's go. Yeah. You can see the run recognition right off the bat. They saw it the whole way. Okay. Noticing those indicators, what is this going to be? Most likely going to be a run. Okay, nice tight formation to start, and then just seeing, oh yeah, he's handing it off immediately. Likely going to be the same thing here, but let's see. Yep, straight ahead. Okay, establishing the ground game is a common coaching thing that coaches do. They want to stay on the ground early in the game to start. Doesn't always happen like that, but pretty common. And there's the rollout. Okay. Play action off of that. Let's see here. Chopping number 3's head off. Okay. We got space down here at the bottom. We know how to chop his head off. Okay. Right there. Looks good. Looks really good, though. Alright. Let's not cut people's heads off. Let's keep them in the shot. They're a key part of that play, obviously. If he pops open, they're throwing it to him. So, most of the time he's just running off to gain space for the guy coming underneath, which is what happened. But let's keep him in the shot, okay? They're doing a great job of keeping up with all these plays going down the field. And we're moving the ball. Let's go. Great. Oh, yeah. Let's go. That's awesome. Okay. Bam. Yeah. Pretty good. Pretty good. And then now he's filling that edge again. And now we're into this. And the ball's away. And now we're going to find it. And look at all this. All these players condensing. Okay. Going to find the ball. Love it. Woo. Let's do that all day. Awesome. Wow. Okay, cutting the guy's head off at the top again. All right, we were within a yard behind the running back. Love it. Okay, now, yes, he's coming this direction, but there's still a player up here. Let's not just ignore him, right? If we're gonna cut him out of the play, let's do so because we're adding something down here. There's nothing to add, right? Let's just keep it in the frame. Keep all this framed up. And it's an awesome run, obviously. I love it. Okay, and now that guy's back in the play, right? He was in the play the whole time. He wasn't just giving up behind the play. He was coming over to see if it's cutting back, he's going to make the tackle. So I want to see him. All right. Okay? This is a different situation. We've got guys actively running out, away from the play, right? Right there. And the ball's coming this way. Okay? So that's different. Look at this. Jeez. Takedown down there at the bottom corner. All right, that works. All right. Now, pass. Pass. Pass, pass. It's a pass. Or quarterback draw. It's a pass. Okay? 9 times out of 10, it's not going to be a quarterback draw. It's going to be a pass. It can be a quarterback draw, but I have to, say that for legal reasons that it could be possibly a quarterback draw, but it's a pass, right? All right, to the corners. Love it, okay? We're trying to get the ball to the corner of the end zone, and we're going to zoom out to make sure that we see the corners. And all this, okay? This is fantastic. Yeah. I mean, I'm putting a box on it just to see how tight it is to the edge of the frame. It's that tight. Okay? Is there any space along the edge? Not really. Right? By the time you put a box on it, if we were to actually measure how much this was, almost 100% of the frame is football. I love that. I love that, and I just love it. I want to see that. Just all the time. Are they going to do it next time? I don't know. Probably. I haven't seen anything to indicate that they aren't. Perfect. Absolutely beautiful. 4th and 4. Let's go. Going for it. We want the score. We want the touchdown. Okay. Well, sometimes you don't get what you want. But going corner to corner again. Okay. They're putting guys in the corner of the end zone. There's nobody here. If you can get out of that and get the ball to them, right? And coaches are going to be like, hey, there's nobody here. If you can get out of that and get the ball to them, we've got to score, right? And so that's the whole point, right? Can we look back and say, is there anything we could have done to get the ball to this guy when he's standing out there with nobody on him? And I'm sure that conversation came up after this game. But, yeah, great job. Okay. There you go. Play action. Okay, pretty much throwing the ball away. That was perfect. They did absolutely everything right there. Great. Awesome. All right, Dallas, let's go. I see you, filmer. Okay. Doing awesome so far. Let's see it. Yeah. Okay. Pause. 2/3. Beautiful. Okay. That 2/3 line makes so much sense to put the ball on the 2/3 line, which is right there. Okay. It's absolutely right on the line. And guess what? You got 2/3 of the action is going to take place on this side of the line of scrimmage. Okay, there's going to be some stuff going on here. Obviously, these guys are stepping back. I'm guessing this is a pass, and these guys are in a pass set, and they're going to drop back, and then he's going to stand back here, and he's going to throw it to one of these players, right? And it's possibly the running back coming out into the to the sideline, right? So let's just figure on that being the case when we start filming, right? And that's exactly what they did. They put it right on the 2/3 line. 2/3 of the action is taking place down here. And there's the drop back, and there's the pass set, and this is perfectly framed up, and everything's perfect, and it's awesome. Okay, there's room behind the safety. That's not a big deal, right? But they're not leaving. We're not seeing to the back of the end zone. We're not seeing to the goalposts. We're not seeing the crowd. We're not seeing the seating section or the camera operators, the people taking photos on the sidelines. We're not seeing the cheerleaders up there. We're seeing football. Let's go. All right, we're within 8 yards there behind the safety. Ball's away, and now we're zooming back up. Let's go. That's awesome. I love it. Yeah. Bam. 5 yards total. Okay, a little bit of motion before the play. Still 5 yards total. Okay. All right. Some minor critiques here. There's just some up and down movement that doesn't need to take place, right? There's just this little bounce here, right? So just because the running back's coming this direction, if he's going to hand it off, he's going to be coming this direction, but he's got all the space in the world down here to get there, right? Wait to see whether or not that's actually the case, because the quarterback doesn't give him the ball, and he's just turning around. He's looking this direction now, and now he goes, top down, and now we're going back up, right? So you can see that movement, kind of a knee jerk, down and then back up again, and then back, and then in the mix of that, while you're doing all of that, the quarterback's hitting the edge, right? And so that's where we don't want to lose our quarterback. We always want to see every bit of this quarterback, his footwork, his setup, and everything that he's doing in between. And you do, right? He does hit the edge, but you do see absolutely everything. And on the whole, it's really, really, really good. Okay, almost perfect filming there. All right. Awesome. Great job. Everything's tight. I mean, this is a great start to this game. Okay, 2/3. We talked about it earlier. A little bit off of that. All right. Let's see what they do with it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. But you can see by having that extra space behind the quarterback now, they're letting that quarterback fill in, but that space went somewhere. Okay, it's kind of like a balloon. When you squeeze on one side to tighten it up, the air goes somewhere else, right? And it ends up on the back side here. So this is where you're gaining way more space on this side than you want to. And if you had just kind of kept that in the 2/3, put the ball instead of here, put it right about here, put the offense here, put the quarterback here, the quarterback drops back and then he's right on the edge of the frame, right? Without having to make any movements, the space behind the defenders here, these guys can run, 10, 20 yards. So that's 2 seconds worth of running, 2.5 seconds, where you can just let this play for 2.5 seconds before they ever get to that spot. Now the defenders might be dropping slightly faster than that. Nope, they're really engaging at the same speed, right? So there you go. And then that's where you get more space than needed back there. Okay. Top to bottom, pretty tight. Okay, 2/3 would help just a little bit. 2 back set. Faking the handoff and throwing it. Looks good. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. All right. So Really tight behind the running back, really tight behind the safety. This is fantastic. Okay? So much detail. Yep. Let's see number 26 hips. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh. It changes direction so quickly. Okay. And top to bottom, there's a guy there, there's a guy there. No farther than the sidelines. That makes sense. All right. And then the takedown. Let's go. Great job. Great setup. Using the space behind the quarterback perfectly. Oh, goodness. Let's go. Okay. All right. Look at this. You got what? What is this? 7 yards behind the quarterback. Do they widen out? Do they zoom out? Do they go right to left to give him more space? Absolutely not. He's got the space back there. Let's see him use it. And there it is. And they even tighten up from there. They come in just another yard, and now they give that space to this receiver who's throwing the long ball at the sideline. Love it. Great job. Awesome. So tight. Let's go. Lead blocker and countering the other direction. Sweet. All right, filmer. Let's go. Lead blocker, off tackle. Great job. Looking really good. Okay. Can we tighten this up? Yes. How? Okay, top to bottom is pretty tight. I mean, they're backing off before the play even starts. They know it's a pass, but just, the 2/3 would go a long way, right? If you were to actually put that on the line, right, you would give yourself more space this direction, and you don't feel like you have to zoom out. The only reason you would have to zoom out are if these guys immediately start heading to the sidelines, both directions, and that's not the case here. Okay. This guy's coming in. This guy's going straight ahead. So the only reason you needed to zoom out there would have been for this guy who's got 10 yards, and he's not doing that. Now you got 15 yards, and then behind the quarterback is 10 yards already at the snap of the ball. Okay. Again, they're using the space behind the quarterback. If you're going to have space, use it, right? But this is just creating a whole lot of extra space along the edges, and you might not even realize it until you put the box on it and see right about here. Okay. If we were to put that into the corner and measure it using our measuring tool, about 80% of the frame, right? But this isn't the widest point in the shot. The widest point is when this safety crashes. Okay, condenses way down, and now we've got all this extra space back here. All right. Okay. Basically a no play on that, but they did a good job with it. Okay. Looking good. Awesome. Look at that. Really use the frame well. You know, if you're going to have any extra space, they don't. I mean, top to bottom, they don't have any space, but they have the extra space behind the safety. Again, they're using the space behind the quarterback well. You can just kind of start there where they're at the 43, and the quarterback falls back into that space. They're still at the 43, and the defender runs to behind them there. Okay, so they're using all this space really well, and you can see now everybody's filling into that frame. Great job. And they're kicking it. Perfect. Perfect framing. Don't move anything. Let everybody watch what's happening. Everybody's saying, some people saying no, some people saying yes. It was yes. Okay. Can't fool us, Cowboys. Referees saw it. Okay. And there you go. Fantastic. Great job. Awesome. Looks good. Recognizing that it was a quick pass out this direction, you didn't have to zoom out any farther than that. They immediately stopped and then started to come back in on it. That looks good. Okay, so this is 3rd and 7. No backs behind the quarterback. Obviously a passing down. Obviously a passing formation. And there you go. Great job. But just to see it again, we're just going to run that play again. 3rd and 17 this time. Maybe just a draw up the middle. But not sure what play call they have on 3rd and 17. Might just try to get some yards for their punter. If they can get a play off at all. Okay, let's see. Gonna drop back to pass and long ball. Almost intercepted. Okay. 4th and 17. That's gonna be a punt. No, it's going to be no play. Okay. Fourth and 22. Okay. Good snap. Punter's got it. Punts away. All right. Oh, okay. All right. So, I mean, knowing that your punter, only punts a certain distance is helpful. Recognizing that it's probably not going, to the far side. It could, and you can, adjust on the fly if you can. Just respond to how far the punt went. That works. Okay. Looks good. Nice. Let's go. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Let's go. Psh, where'd that guy come from? Right? Well, we're going to see it. Okay. They sent more defenders than you could block, right? Or they just sent one who is unblockable, right? This guy, right? And there he is, and bam, right? And I saw all of that while also seeing the coverage, while also seeing, this guy squeezing out over on this side here. If we can get the ball to him, that's going to go, right? You just didn't have the time to see it because you got a guy just swallowing up your quarterback. Let's go! Fantastic job, filmer. Saw every little bit of that, every direction, and so did the coaches, and so did the players, and so did the guy coming off the edge. And he's like, I want to do that every play, right? And he's going to, because he's awesome. And so is that dude. Okay. A lot of fantastic football going on the field, and I'm seeing every bit of it because the Cowboys filmer is pretty dang good at this. Handoff, straight ahead. Look at that, okay? Run recognition, right? What happens on a run? Well, you don't need to zoom out, do they? Okay, they adjusted for this. Perfect framing. Okay, they've got some space behind the running back. Okay, that's not a huge deal. Let's see what happens. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Let's see what happens first. And then move the camera. Love it. Same. Okay, everybody ran routes, but they ran routes on the frame that you already had. No movement. Okay, till right here. Okay, zoom out a little bit. This guy's obviously going to be pressing the edge of your shot. Ball's away. Don't have to even, include him at that point, and you go find it. Fantastic job. Okay, we are showing the back of the end zone at this point because that's where the ball is going. And there's no reason to adjust anything because it's already set up perfectly, and it's all that. All of that is fantastic. Okay, 3rd and 1. Line up, get your 1 yard, get your 1 yard, get your 1 yard. Not going straight ahead, we're going to the corner. Hitting the edge. Fantastic. So good. They got the 1 yard. Now it's 1st and 4. You go straight ahead. Not against that lineup you're at. Okay. You're going to play action pass and throw for the touchdown. Of course. Okay. Defensive coaches are going to look at that and say, is there anything we can do to cover that guy? I'm sure there is, right? Kicking team coaches are going to look and say, is there anything we can do to block that? I'm sure there is. What are we going to do to install that this week, right? Kickoff coaches are going to say, how far did my kicker kick it? He kicked it exactly that far. And then the filmer zoomed in to show all the coverage, everybody coming in to make a shot and make a tackle. Looks pretty good. You can definitely tighten that down. One thing that would help would be to drop the kicker after he kicks the ball. It makes sense that he's not going to get involved at that point. Unless everything else breaks down, right? And in that case, knowing why everything else broke down in your coverage is more important than whether or not the kicker made the kick, the tackle at that point. All right, hold on. 2/3, not even close. All right, we're centered at this point, and that gives us 15 yards behind the quarterback. Is there anybody back here? There is one guy in this entire third, and he's the one guy who's going this direction immediately. Okay? All right. Here he goes. Gone. Okay? And he's the guy we're throwing to. All right. So, had we just started there, we wouldn't have had to move the camera at all, and everything would just be right here. All right. Got away from that 2/3 at this point. Looking more towards the center. Interesting. There we go. That fixed it. Okay? Great. Okay. There's a problem. Fix it. Before the play, before the snap. Recognized it immediately. Okay. After the play, was there a problem? Fix it. Right? After the game, was there a problem? Fix it. Oh, yeah. No problems here. Okay? We got no problems. Look at this. Bam. Bam. It's all right there. Bam. Okay. See how the ball's away. He has not made any adjustment to this. Okay, allowing everything to play out for a second. And then we're going to go find the ball carrier. But I'd rather see all this blocking. Okay, we lost a guy up here. He kind of ran off, and that's fine. But let's go. I love it. Okay. Centered? Yeah. Got a lot of empty space on that left side. Motion back. Okay, tightening up a little bit. Okay. If you're going to tighten up before the play, don't zoom out immediately after the snap, right? Let's see what happens first. There was no reason to adjust from where you just came. Let's go. Bam. Bam. Okay. If you got a filmer that's capable of doing this, you don't have to zoom out at the start of every play. You can obviously see what's happening on the field and adjust on the fly. Okay? This is good stuff. This is really good stuff. Got a lead blocker. Drop back. He's just a blocker. Okay? Not just about blocker. He's an awesome blocker. But long balls, right? Okay? Got some space out ahead of him. You can definitely tighten that up. But it's going his direction. Gonna go find it. Looks really good. Yeah. Such a tight formation. Let's get a really tight setup. And then not do any knee-jerk reactions because we obviously see the handoff. And it's obviously a perfect setup and a perfect execution on that play. Get up in there. Let's go. Okay. Is it going to be another handoff or is he going to pull it back and, it's a pitch. Pitch this direction. Okay. So, yes. So good. Pitch this direction. Okay. You can obviously see this is a pitch. It's happening directly in front of you. And they recognize it immediately and then don't zoom out at all. Okay. Once they recognize the pitch, they stop their zoom and keep this framing through the entire play. Perfect. Awesome. Looks really good. Okay, getting uptight. I like it. And coming out with it, obviously. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, sweet. All right, so you can get tight. This motion man, leaves this open void here. This guy's not going to stay there. He's going to come in. All right, and so they tighten up. Okay, and then guess what they're expecting? Yeah, it's going to be a pass, obviously. These guys are bolting this direction. So yeah, you want to keep up with them. And then zoom in. Awesome. Ball's on the ground. And it's up. Oh my goodness. All right. So can we tighten this up at all? You know, there's space behind the quarterback. There's space behind the safety. On this side, there's not a ton. Yeah, it's pretty good. There's room to tighten it up. You know, but I was just kind of looking to see, if there's anything we can do to get rid of all this space. You're already tight to the sidelines on this side. It's not bad. Okay, and of course you're able to see all this and some straight stuff going on down there. Awesome. Okay, empty. Now we have a running back. Possible to hand it off to him. He is parallel to the. Okay, now we got two running backs parallel, and yeah, there it is. Okay, so a lot of times if your running back's going straight ahead, he's going to have one step back in order to for the quarterback to get there. If he is parallel, he can go laterally. Okay, and he's got a lead blocker here, and now he's going to go laterally this direction. Okay. So, I mean, recognizing that happened, right? You wouldn't cut off this guy's head just to leave a bunch of empty space along there. All right. Nice. I like that they try to get as tight as possible on these formations, and they're definitely doing that to start. This looks really good. Okay. Getting up tight and then staying out with everybody. As everybody starts running down the field, you zoom out with them, right? I mean, boiled down to its simplest terms, that is what we're doing here. And it can be a challenge, but it's a challenge that these filmers are up to the task to do in most cases. They're saying, okay, that is what I have to do here, and I'm going to get up tight, and I'm going to pull out as needed, only at the pace of the players running down the field. Okay, and so that is the challenge, and they're rising to that challenge, play after play after play after play. And there's so many different variations and so many different situations that they have to account for in the moment, at speed, right? Wow. Okay. There's room to tighten this up for sure. All right. And that was 3rd and 16. Obviously expecting a pass. 4th and 9. And obviously expecting a punt, right? So. And obviously that punt is not going where it was intended because the Cowboys are diving on it in the end zone after the block. What? Great job, filmer. Obviously, 99.9% of the punts go the other direction. They found the 0.1% that is going back to the end zone for a touchdown, and they found it, and they capitalized on it, got a score, made a huge difference in this game. And the filmer saw every moment of it, right? Watch the punt, make sure it gets away, then drop the punter, and then go find it. Fantastic. Great job. Everybody's fired up. Stadium's fired up. And filmer's fired up. He's dialed in at this point. He's ready for anything. Getting up tight. Perfect. Let's go. Makes a difference. Okay. That big play was a difference maker. Defense back on the field, so they weren't expecting to be, back at it this quick, but I'm sure they're loving the score out of it. And now they just gotta keep the other team from negating it, right? Let's see. Cardinals are moving the ball, so. But, this filmer's dialed in at this point. Okay. Some space behind the safety, you can cut it down. Oh, big hit inside there. Okay. Great job of coming in to see it, right? Plays all condensing to the ball carrier. Let's go in and see what they're doing in there. And bam, big hit goes, takes place right there. All right. No reason to zoom out on a run, so they don't. Great job. Okay, we're inside 2 minutes left in the half. So just for context, it's a 10-7 game. Cardinals are up with the 10, right? And they kick the field goal to go up 10. And the Cowboys offense has yet to cross the goal line because their 7 points came off of special teams. Okay? Defense definitely doesn't want to give up a score right here before the half. Let's see what they can do to stop it. This looks like a passing situation, and it is. Dropping back, throwing the pass up the sidelines, and preserving time. Okay, could be good at this point. If they're going to score here sooner than later, they don't want to leave a whole lot of time for Dallas, but definitely want to give themselves enough time to cross the goal line if possible. And they're going to do that, right? They're going right for it. Fantastic job. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I see his frustration in that, but not my place to say. And there's the run. Okay, ground game seems to be working pretty well for Arizona. Filmer's doing a fantastic job of keeping up with all of it. Okay, long routes, crossing routes, run plays up the middle, run plays to the edge. They're framing everything so perfectly. Okay, perfect. Okay, so right there, okay, got a block going on. Look at this. When I talk about preserving detail, I can see whose hands where, whose hands. I can see the exact punch that's going to this guy's chest here, right, to keep him from getting too close to him, right? He doesn't want to engage, this guy to engage him, so he immediately puts his arm out to keep him out. Bam. Okay, so he keeps his arm out there. Got guys coming this direction. Everybody's in the frame. Everybody's in the shot. Running back's here, right? Instead of centering him and cutting all these guys out, they're leaving this to play out. Awesome. And all that happening with a minute to go in the half, right? And they're knocking on the door, straight ahead. Okay, got a yard. Perfect framing. No reason to zoom out. No reason to make any adjustments. All that detail, right? Look at all this. Everybody, everywhere, all in the frame. Frame is crowded. The line of scrimmage is crowded, and we're going to punch it into the end zone and get a score right before half. Love it. Okay. Perfect setup for the special teams. Nice and tight. This Cowboys filmer says, I want to be tight, right? I want to get tight on it. I don't want to just stay out wide and then let everybody fill in the frame. I want to get up tight, and then I can make those adjustments as needed. And I think that's fantastic. I'm all for it. Okay. Doesn't mean that doing it the other way is bad, as long as they're using that frame correctly. But it's always better when you see all that better detail, and can preserve it throughout the entire play as perfectly as possible. Okay. All right. 2/3 is more to the center at this point, and that's going to give you extra space. All right. So pretty much sideline to sideline at this point. Okay, top to bottom, you can see they go sideline to sideline. There's a guy here. There's a guy down here. Okay, they're kind of recognizing it, and then once they get to the sidelines, they stop. Okay, and then they're allowing everybody to fill in that frame. Pretty dang good. Okay. And Dallas is moving the ball. Okay. There's 35 seconds to go in the half. Right? They can cross the midfield and get a field goal in, or just hit a long ball for a touchdown. Love it. It's a good way to finish out the half, especially after just giving up a score. Okay, 20 seconds, 3rd and 2. Not sure of their timeout situation. Okay, great job, filmer, recognizing that it's hurry up, and then recognizing they ran the clock on them. Oh no, that's not good. Great job though. Okay, 3 seconds to go. Didn't cross midfield, so they're not going to be able to. Okay, they spiked it. Okay, weren't able to cross midfield. They are lining up for the kick. Okay, kick is away. Little different on that because there was a potential for them to potential to run, a run back on a field goal, right? Devin Hester style. Seemed to be really good at that, right? All right, this was fantastic. Third quarter now, going the other direction. Filmer's dialed in. Yup. So is Cardinals offense. Okay. All right. Let's go. Going again. Fantastic job. Look at that. Okay, the run recognition. Right? Are they zooming out? No, not even a little bit. Maybe a little bit there. Okay. Not sure why. The ball's going away from you. Everybody's condensing to that. Perspective-wise, as things go away from you, they get smaller. So all of this is going to get smaller as it heads that direction. You don't need to zoom out here, right there. It's just a minor zoom, but recognizing that these guys are going to all start condensing that direction. And there it goes. Okay. And the defensive coaches are going to say, is there anything we can do to keep their running back from running through our defensive secondary, right? I'm sure there is, right? Okay. All right. Really tight to start. The receiver at the top vacated immediately. I'd love to be able to see him a little bit longer, even on a run play, just to see what he's doing up there. Okay, if you can find space to trade to keep that receiver in the shot, always helps. Corner to corner, man, they are really good at that, right? As soon as they go, everybody's heading to the end zone, they go and find the corners of the end zone and then stop. And there it is. Perfect. Special teams. There's been some unique special teams moments in this game, right? Field goal that didn't end with the referee just sticking his arms up, and a punt that went back the other direction with the referee sticking his arms up for a touchdown. So just kind of seeing a lot of different variations on what is normally a very straightforward expectation from your special teams. Okay, you got a lead blocker. Nope, he's moving over, going that direction. Yep, makes sense. The tendency is that the ball's going to go that direction. Okay, because you got an extra blocker over there. All right, 2/3 centered. Okay, who's in the 2/3 space? The running back. He's going forward. the receiver, he's going forward. This guy and this guy are the only two people in this entire third of the frame, and they're both going this direction. So if you can just put the edge of the frame right here, you're going to remove 8 yards, okay? An entire 8 yards behind the offense that's never going to be used. Yep, and it isn't, right? Still right here. Right? And now they went from 8 yards to 12. Okay. But top to bottom, you still have sideline to sideline. You still have receivers here and there. Okay. It's just more of a matter of, where is this extra space? Is it going to be behind the quarterback that's never going to be used, or it's going to be downfield where it very well could be used if these guys are, running up the sidelines. All right. Okay. Seems like Dallas is hurrying up. Their filmers really got to get back and forth quick. All right. And they are. Okay. Went a little wider on here. They did go sideline to sideline to make sure everybody stayed in the shot, which is fine. There's room to tighten it up, but let's just see if they can here. Yeah. A lot of spread formations. Everybody's spread out. Okay. Wow. All right. Can we tighten this up at all? Yes. They're zooming out for no reason. And then that puts us into... %. Okay. Nice. We went tight again. Okay. Let's get tight. Let's stay tight. Formation allows it. Quarterback gets dropped as soon as he hands the ball off. That makes sense. And everybody stayed in the shot. I saw the blocking at the bottom of the frame. Okay. Now with the spread formation, they seem to be just staying out wider and leaving a bunch of space behind the quarterback and then zooming out to get more space. Okay. It's not intuitive, right? It makes people think that, we're seeing everything on all 22 guys, so it just makes sense that, yeah, this works, right? But it doesn't, right? Because to get there, this is less than 70% of your frame is actually football. If I had just showed you this, would you expect that it was only 65% of your frame and that there was 45% extra space all along the edge? All of this was just completely unusable, right? Once you put this, box into the corner, you can see how much extra space there is that's just not being used around the edge, because the only football that's taking place is right here. Okay. They did go corner of the end zone to the corner of the end zone, which makes sense in certain circumstances, but typically when people are running to the corners of the end zone, right? If you're shrinking your camera down, your frame down to 65% of the frame to show the corners of the end zone when nobody's there, doesn't make sense. If you're showing this corner down here and cutting off the receivers across the top, makes absolutely no sense. right? Yeah, the throws across the middle, but these guys are still part of the play, right? You know, maybe they come off of their, you know, defender at the last second, and we can throw it to the corner of the end zone, and I'm kind of seeing that as the case, right? This guy, yep, he's open, right? Throw it to him, right? But we don't see it because he's not even in the frame anymore, you know. And we traded him for this, and this sucks, right? This is just turf. I mean, it's nice turf. I'm not going to just say that it sucks. It's really, really, you know, top of the line stuff. Okay, straight ahead. Looks good. Okay. That works. They went corner of the end zone on that. Which I do have to give it to this filmer. Is really good at doing that. Go find the corner of the end zone and stop, right? Because that's where the action is going to take place. I've seen other filmers just keep going from there, and then you see the crowd, and then you see the, you know, seating sections, and you see the cheerleaders. I see the cheerleaders on this one, but you know, if you can just keep it right in here, okay. Yeah, this pass is going this direction, but there's still guys up here, and you know, you don't have to go any farther than this, and still keep those guys in the shot, right? And then go zoom in after that. All right. 4th and 8, field goal. Okay. Didn't cross the end zone. Didn't cross the goal line. Didn't get in the end zone. So we're going to kick the field goal. It's good. Okay. Got some points on the board. Making it a 2-possession game. It's 24-10 in the third quarter. Okay. 2 possessions is better than 3. And so that field goal was a big deal, right? All right. Awesome. Looks good. Okay. Great. Awesome. Top to bottom, keeping everybody in the shot, and then coming back in once the play develops. Can't do it much better than that. All right. Nice. Good. Good, good. Yes. Get tight. And then watch what happens, and not make any knee-jerk reactions because of it. Fantastic job. Okay. 2nd and 1. What do you run on 2nd and 1? Anything you want. Your pick. Open up the playbook. That works. Okay. You can expect that they're going to run the ball, keep it on the ground and get their 1 yard, or just expect that they can just open up, you know, the craziest play and just start throwing the ball all over the place. Because they can, because it's 2nd and 1, right? This works close enough. Lot going on that play. Rollout going the opposite direction. And they did a great job of keeping up with all of it. Okay. 2nd and 10 is different. They need to get some yards. They definitely did. Stepped out, obviously. Okay. Did a great job on that one. I saw him step out. It was pretty clear. Okay. Because the filmer was doing such a good job of keeping up with all this. And not just zooming out indiscriminately. Okay. Pitch away from you. Stop your zoom. Go find it. Love it. Oh, look at this block up here. Okay. What's going on up here? Bam, 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 bam. Let's go. Cool. Love it. Got to see it. Great job. Nice work all around on that. Okay. A little bit of a zoom out. Nothing major. Obviously it was a run. Okay. Cardinals are seeing the run as a good option right now. 3rd and 5. Okay. Are they gonna run it on 3rd and 5? Maybe. You know. Nope, it's a pass. Dropping back. Okay. Alright, and there's flags. Alright, so can we keep this tighter in routes? Okay, within 5 yards behind the quarterback, within 10 yards in front of the receivers, still within 10 yards in front of the receivers, and now we're getting beyond 10 yards in front of the receivers. Okay, is that important? Well, it is if you want to stay tight. You know, you have all that tight framing that we started with is gone if you keep zooming out with it. Okay, 75%. Okay, and there's the flags. I'm gonna kick it. Got that field goal back. Now it's 3 possessions again. All right, 27-10. I've seen 2 possession games change on a dime, you know, in an instant. No matter how much time is on the clock, if it's 2 possessions, there's still a chance, right? 3 possessions is statistically a much different scenario. Great. Great job. Okay. They had to be out wide with the receivers top to bottom, and then as the play developed, the receivers going inside allowed them to just stay exactly where they were at and just let it all play out, and that's fantastic. Okay. Again, same thing here. Just stay exactly where you're at, let it play out, and then go find the ball after that. Sweet. Okay. Stepped out again. Okay. This filmer is doing a great job of seeing all this happening. You know, this is a chaos play. Obviously, the quarterback normally, you know, releases the ball by now. Right there, he's usually got the ball away. Doesn't happen like that. They're going sideline to sideline, and they get to the sidelines and stop, right? And then just let it all play out from there, right? And sometimes that's the best, you know, best decision you can make is just like, this play isn't going as planned. Let's just get out and make sure that we see everybody and go from there. All right. Drop back. Okay. Is it play action? Not even a little bit, right? Is it a run? Not even close. He's not even looking. All the running backs are going this way. Quarterback's just dropping back the complete opposite direction. Okay. Does that make, you know, sense that it's going to be a pass this direction? Yeah. Apparently the defenders saw that as well. So, all right. Great job, but recognizing exactly where that ball's going is going to give you a leg up as to what you need to be doing with your camera, and then, you know, adjusting accordingly. And adjusting accordingly doesn't mean zooming out every time, no matter what, right? They are doing that here. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's not, you know, not something that I'm seeing every play from this filmer, but you know, sometimes some people think that that's the way to do it. As soon as the ball is snapped, they're just going to zoom out, right? Before the play even starts, I'm going to zoom out as soon as the ball's snapped. That's not a good plan, right? Because on a run play, you're just going to be gaining space here. Okay, they recognize it pretty quick and then stop. And come back in. Okay. All right. 3rd and 9. What do you do on 3rd and 9 when you're down 3 scores? Probably gonna need to pass. And there's not even somebody to hand it off to, so yeah. And how does that affect you as a filmer? It helps you to understand that you might have to zoom out with these guys. You don't do it immediately, right? Just wait to see what happens. There's a lot of space here. You know, they're leaving a lot of space out in front. Okay? If you're going to have space, it's good to have it to the safety side instead of behind the quarterback, because nothing ever happens there. But if we can cut that space down as much as possible, it's going to be a huge help. Specifically, stuff behind the quarterback always helps to cut it down, which they do. Quarterback got a guy right in his face. Okay, pretty decent all around. Okay, that was 4th and 3. They did not convert. Giving the ball back to the team that's up 3 scores is not ideal. Okay, and there you go. All right. Okay, so right here, this is tight, both sides, and you can recognize that there's no one pressing this safety. What is the safety covering? Okay, he's either lending aid to this defender on this side or this defender on this side. There's no one that's coming up the field that he has to cover. So he's obviously coming here, right? You can see it. You know, the quarterback's rolling this way. He's going to cut the field down, and he's going to come this direction. And ball might be coming here. The ball might be going long, but he's coming this direction either way. And so if you can recognize that and see it in your peripheral vision, see it on this edge, that he's obviously going to be coming this direction, you don't zoom out from there. Right? Because by zooming out, you're just going to gain more space here and more space out in front of your receiver. All right. And ball's away. And obviously the quarterback found the open man, right? Okay, great job. 2nd and 3. Handoff, coming this way. No more reason to zoom out, and they don't. Excellent job. All right, 3rd and 3. Again, up 3 scores. They might just keep it on the ground, see if they can get 3 yards. Nope. Pulling it back, play action, and probably could have just kept it on the ground and got the 3 yards. All right. Yeah. So, you know, top to bottom, they were using all that space. Looked really good, and you know, defense was able to make a stop, and you know, punt is away this time. And great job of finding the returner on the far side. Okay, is there a flag in there somewhere? Maybe. All right. Yep. All right. So down 3 scores. Passing. Step up. Okay. If you can recognize the pass, you can stay in tighter. Right. You know they're passing. Right. They've got to gain big yards in a hurry. Right. So tendency is that they're gonna, you know, go to the air as much as possible. Okay. This is much better. Great job. Okay. Passing. Not a running back to hand off to anywhere in that formation. Looks good. First and 10. There is a running back, still a pass because of the situation. Throwing the ball. Okay, it's good to have a great passing offense. And the ball's on the ground. Great job, filmer. Okay, nice work. All right, 1st and 10, passing. Yeah, it works. Oh, okay. They did zoom out wider than necessary there, but they're just trying to keep everybody in the shot at this point. Great time to call a run, apparently. Setting up pass, 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 and then run. Looked really good. Okay, 1st and 5. You got 2 options here. Run or pass. 3rd option, touchdown. Let's go. Okay, great job. All right, kind of a big deal. It's a 10-point game. Okay, after this field goal. Oh. Okay. Normally they only send a rusher from one side to avoid collisions like that, but maybe that's something they can discuss on Monday, right? Kick is away. Kicker staying in the shot. There you go. Looks good. All right. They've been very consistent at keeping the kicker in the shot this entire time on kickoffs. Not necessary. It's usually better to cut the kicker out and go see where the ball is and where everybody's getting to. Run play. Nope. Play action. And they swallowed it. Yep. Okay. Great job. Nice work. Okay. Run play. Oh, play action. Looks good. Sideline to sideline, top to bottom. Okay. Filmer's seeing it. Run play. Yep. Okay. Looks good. Pass. Yep. Okay. That works. Defense is stepping up. Okay, they say we want the ball back. We want our scores back. We want pancakes. Okay. Receiving, this is a passing down, 3rd and 18. Receiver spread out wide. No play. Okay. Interesting. And going backwards. Oh my goodness. Okay. If you got to play on 3rd and 23, this would be the time to use it, Arizona, because you don't want to give up the ball at this point in the game with 7:49 to go in the game and up 10 points, right? 2 possessions. Quick little screen. Not having it. Defense is all over it. Filmer's all over it. Let's go. 4th and 24. All right. The filmer is all over the back of the goal line, and the deepest that the ball's going to go is to the punter, who's at the 14-yard line. Okay, you can cut all that out. 14 yards. You can give yourself 14 yards towards the defense, and then allow that entire, all of this to take place right up until here. Okay, that's the 14, right? You can just zoom out and keep all this and see all this much tighter instead of having to zoom out and then go find all this. You've got a lot of yards here, and we're not seeing any detail in this because we had to zoom out because we had the extra 14 yards behind the punter to start. All right, there's the returner. Okay, zooming back in. All right. 1st and 10. Cowboys ball down 2 scores, 10 points, 27-17. Kind of a big deal. Okay. Filmer's got extra space behind the offense, and then the space just goes somewhere, right? It always just goes somewhere. If you're starting with this much space behind your offense, it never goes away, right? If you can, figure on that 2/3 that we were doing earlier in the game, there's one guy, two guys in that third of the frame, right? Out of all 22, you've got these two guys are the only ones, and this guy's even like right on the line, right? So it's just all this empty space. Just cut it down, cut it in half even, and give that to the defense. And then you don't have to zoom out unless these guys are going sideline to sideline, right? And you can see that, and it takes one less thing that you have to account for out of play, right? I can say, okay, if I know that the quarterback's not going to take a 12-yard drop before passing the ball, I can put the frame on this edge, and he's going to drop perfectly into that space 99% of the time. Yep. And he's going to step up, right? And when he does, I don't have all this extra space here, and I haven't gained extra space behind the safety, and I haven't gained extra space along the bottom of the frame, and I haven't put my football into such a small portion of my frame that it grades out at less than 70% of the frame, okay? And still zooming out. All right. But quarterback got positive yardage on that, 2nd and 5. Okay. Still thinking they got to gain a lot of yards, so they're still in a passing, situation all the way down, sideline to sideline, top to bottom. Okay. There's the out. There's the out. Of course, because they're trying to preserve the time, right? They're trying to get the yards and then step out of bounds. And there it is. Perfect. Of course. Of course. That's what they're doing, right? And the defense knows it, but they'd rather give up that than, an immediate strike to the end zone that's going to, cost them the game. All right? And having a quarterback that can gain yards by himself like that is fantastic. Not by himself. He had a bunch of blockers out in front of him, which is great. Okay. Here we go. Again. To the sideline. Preserving the clock. Or don't. I mean, I guess. Looks good. All right. Even though there's a back there, the situation would say that this is a pass. Yep. Okay. All right. Tick, 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 tick. Chris Berman. All right. Here we go. Uh-huh. Awesome. Okay. Kind of a big deal to take up a sack right there, right? But here we go. Going again, right? If you're going to score two scores, it's going to have to be a touchdown on one of them. And there it is. Okay. Getting your out, stepping out of bounds. Great job. 3rd and 12. Oh. Ball's on the ground. Ball's on the ground. Ball's on the ground. Oh, no. All right. Great job, Filmer. Wish that one would have turned out slightly different from how it did. It's still 2 possessions, and that can change at any moment. And so you got to be ready for anything, right? Obviously, the Cardinals are trying to get the clock down to 0 as quickly as possible here, right? And so they're going to do anything they can to do that. And what does that mean? Run straight ahead. Or off tackle. Or to the outside. As long as they're gaining yards and getting down inside and not stopping the clock. And everybody's excited that they're not stopping the clock. Okay. Filmer, great job. Recognizing the run. Okay, staying tight. Jeez, so tight. Run, 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 run. Yep, yep, yep. Fantastic. Let's go. Okay, it's easy when you have a 99%, statistical probability that they're going to be keeping the ball on the ground. Oh my goodness. Defense came in slamming. I hope he's okay. 3rd and 12. Pass. Okay. If it was a running situation before, it's a passing situation on 3rd and 12. Quarterback's going to get his yards and get down. Okay. 4th and 8. Kicking it? Nope. Nope. Okay. They want their 8 yards. They want a first down here. They want to keep the ball. Oh, all right. So you see the receiver running up the sidelines here. Okay. Obviously, you want to stay up there with him, and you need to stay out there with these guys, and the ball's away. Great job. Okay. Handing over the ball with 2:31. It's still a 2-possession ball game, and that can go away in an instant. So let's see how the filmer handles that. Obviously, passing situation. Going to sideline, you're a little wide on this. If you're going sideline to sideline, to the top of the chains makes sense. Right to the edge on this side makes sense. If you go out any further than that, you're just gaining more space. Top to bottom, and then more space side to side. Okay? Not bad, though. I didn't see any crowd, right? So that's good. Good indicator. Crowd the frame, don't frame the crowd. All right. Yes. Awesome. Okay, great job. Sideline to sideline. 2-minute warning. Okay, if you're going to make 2 scores, getting to the 2-minute warning is a warning, right? Like that's the point where you're running out of time. Okay, great job. And taking sacks isn't going to get it there. 4th and 28, gotta have it. Okay, what play do you have on 4th and 28? Not much. There you go. Nope. Not going to do it. All right. So, what are you expecting on 4th and 28? Chaos, right? Are they staying out with it? Absolutely. Doing a great job. Great job. It's about as good as you can do on that. Okay? Kneeling. Victory. There we go. Okay, one more of those, game's over. 27-17 Cardinals. Okay, so week 9 in Dallas ended the way it did. Okay, there was a lot of exciting things happening in the meantime. Very exciting to see how well the filmer handled those different situations. Out of 157 plays, 147 were positive. Okay, that's 94% of the time, which is great. Okay, way to stay positive. Excellent, 59% of the time, and that gives you a little bit of a bonus, putting you to 99.49%. Okay, you were really going for it, and most of the time you were, nailing it. There's definitely areas where you can tighten up and get it even closer to the action, staying in tight and recognizing when the ball is away and recognizing when you can tighten in on runs and things like that. But on the whole, looked really, really good from the Cowboys from week 9 of 2025. Looking forward to 2026. How about them Cowboys? This is Cameraman Grades.